Greetings, my name is Larry Yates. I'm a life coach, anger management counselor. This is my visual bio to show my qualification that I can be your coach, whether it's individual, companies, or group. Today, I will be interviewed by Carolyn Wilkins.
Hello, Mr. Yates.
Well, hi there.
I would like to find out, can you tell me what is a life coach?
A life coach is a professional that partners with the individual as a support system to see that they can reach their highest potential, reaching all of their goals through setting goals and being accountable. And that is, we have found that as a life coach that most of us have the answer to our situations, our problem deep within ourselves, so we don't have to fix the problem for them.
Can you tell me what is the difference between a life coach and a therapist?
Therapists deal with mental health conditions. They deal with the condition and the mental challenges that a patient or a client may be going through at the moment and work with the past traumas that they have gone through to help them get to the point and move forward.
And what is the difference, please, between a life coach and a consultant?
That's a good question. A consultant actually come into a situation, kind of pinpoint the problem, find a solution, and fix it for you. As far as a life coach, once again, the client knows best, and we support the clients finding the solution to their own situation, their own problem solving through goal setting and accountability.
Thank you. A life coach sounds very significant. Can you tell me why you became a life coach?
My love of people. I just love to see people reach their highest potentials. And one of the things that in my career is that I was always someone that wanted to know how people did problem solving. And the more I learned to watch people do problem solving, the more I found out that, we don't have to be consultants all the time. We don't have to get our people fix-it toolbox out all the time, because most of the time people know what they need. And so they just need that safe space that we can be there with them and guide them and help them break through those blockages that comes into each and every one of our lives. And that's what made me become a life coach.
That's excellent. And can you tell me about some of the tough challenges that you've had to overcome in your life?
Some of my greatest challenges, I just if you don't mind, I would just do two: racism and dyslexia. And I overcame racism.
Have you overcome racism now?
Yeah, well, racism is, I don't know that you overcome, you just learn to manage it, because people are going to have their prejudice. And everybody's not going to like you. You're not going to win everybody over. But what I found that has helped me to deal with racism and others is that once you become excellent in what you do, excellence is the key to bringing people together. And for instance, I remember coming up as a kid in a little small area in Mississippi. It was relatively racist down there. Not relative, it was very racist at point. But there was one African-American gentleman that was the best bricklayer in the whole area. And white, blacks, or whomever that wanted the best bricks took him to lunch, took him to dinner, invited them into their home, and it was his excellence that brought them together. And that is why I say be good, be great, be the best at what you can do, be excellent in what you can do, and what you do, then that can bridge some of the divide in racism.
Now, when I go back and look at some of your career situations, it looks like you've been a musician, an artist. You have done work as the founder of Keynote Entertainment, and that's a business of marketing and promotion and distribution. And it also looks like you've created and written books. Can you tell me a little bit about that adventure in life that is taking you all those different places and what you gain from them?
Well, I think one of the question that you ask about racism and dyslexia, Excellent helped me get through that path of dealing with different companies. And dyslexia, um, I knew my weaknesses, and I knew that I was weak as that part of me, and I got over the embarrassment and shame of reaching out for help. And the more I reached out for help, the more people helped me. I was a bass guitar player. I wanted to go to studios. There were people that helped me, and I became excellent at marketing and promotion, and that led me into creating Keynote Distribution, where we deal with manufacturing, we deal with distribution, we deal with marketing and promotion. So, and what that did for me, it helped me to get to know people better, because for a person like myself, I've always believed that your wealth is in the banks, but your riches is in people. And I've always relied on reaching out to people to help me through and navigate me through the difficult parts of my life. And as a life coach, that's what I want to do. That's what I do for my clients.
Now, when I look at all of those career experiences, which of those experiences have been the most helpful in you being a coach?
You know, that's a very good question. I think the connection with people, because in all of these experiences, when you're dealing with manufacturing and distribution, you're dealing with CEOs of relative big companies, and when you're dealing with, and then you're dealing with individuals. And when you're dealing with marketing and promotion, you're dealing with teams. You're dealing with media, you're dealing with news, you're dealing with radio stations, and then you're dealing with an audience. So you get connected to that. I had to sit in the CEO's room, office. I had to sit in the mail room. And then you get to meet people in mass numbers. And I've been so lucky that I get to meet people by the thousand. And you get to work with people that is in graphic design. You get to work with people that is in the basic, what we call mailing department, or the plumber, or the janitor, all the way up to the CEO. And with that brings about a lot of experience in just dealing with human beings. And because I have this love for people, what helped me is that it didn't matter the label or the title that the person had, is that all I wanted to see, were they good at what they did? And then I learned from that process, just learning from the best at what they did.
Well, what I find interesting is, in looking at your resume and your information, that when you talk about, for example, meeting a janitor, your love of people, I believe, helped you have a conversation with that person, regardless of what their title was, and make a connection with the person and help them feel valued. And from them feeling valued, then they were able to speak to you and share with you information that they may not have told other people. Is that correct?
Absolutely. I think that as a life coach, and myself working with CEOs and working with the management team on the way to the truck driver, to understand a company ins and out, from start to finish, from top to bottom, that is what gives me the experience of working with people that is going into entrepreneurship. Oftentimes you find people that are switching jobs from corporate to entrepreneurship. Some that have retired and just don't know what they want to do next, just don't know what is the next move. And as a life coach with this type of experience, I can work with them in finding that solution that lies deep within themselves, finding that uniqueness of the individual and moving forward with that.
And can you tell me, what is your coaching philosophy, if you have one?
I do. Number one, like I said, my philosophy, number one, is that I love people. But I have found that no matter where you are in life, there's room to grow. Excellent. And that's my philosophy.
Wonderful. And what can a person or an organization expect in a coaching session with you?
Well, we do what the most important thing that I feel that I bring to the table is confidentiality. Regardless of what the client brings to the table, it is confident. It is not shared with anybody but that client. And as long as until that client says this information should be released, it will not be released. That create hopefully the safe zone. I want my clients to feel safe that they can reach all and deal with all of the inner dialogue, all of the ideas that they want to present without feeling judged, because most of us don't get a chance to be heard without being judged. And as a life coach, I give my client that safety, that they can be comfortable, that they can be heard but not judged, and then we can explore all the possibilities that is deep within the consciousness of that human being. And that is what I love about being a life coach.
And when you have a life coaching session, is that in person, or are there other options on how having to have that session?
90% of my session is over the phone. And we do some Skype and this new, I think this is not necessarily new, but I'm like slow in technology, but Zoom and some face-to-face. But generally, life coaching works over the phone, anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour session, and on some special occasion you can do an hour and a half. We generally don't go past, I make it a point not going past an hour and a half, because I find that I don't want the client to get burned out in the session. I want the client to be able to leave with a pearl out of each session that they have gotten, and that they can move forward in their goal settings and finding their own sense of accountability, and we work on that.
And do people set goals for each session as well as over a period of time?
That's a good question. It depends on what the client concerns and goal and what they're trying to achieve. And each client is individual. And I don't do cookie cutter client. I offer deep listening. I listen to my clients very, very carefully. And some of them need answers and dealing with the goals in the moment. Whatever the challenge is, they need it in the moment. But oftentimes, they need it for the long term. So you can set a goal within an hour session, but for the long term, you want to get 3 months, 6 months, or a year. And I have clients that have done goal setting up to 5 years. So it really depends on the individual, company, CEO, or group.
Can you tell me or share an example of a success story?
Yeah, I one of my success stories is, and I love this because I work with different, just a spectrum of young and mature clients, and I one of my young client that was really on the verge of suicide, and after he got proper therapy, he, at that point before he got the therapy, he didn't even want to get out of bed. He didn't want to walk outside. He couldn't face himself in the mirror. And from that low point in his life, we made sure, and that's another thing I want to emphasize, that in a session, if my client and I come together and put our heads together and figure out that this client needs therapy, then I will help them find therapy. But this client had therapy, and from therapy to my coaching, and within a year he come from that point, that low point, got himself through high school and got himself into college now, and he's graduating in his first certificate that's coming up this summer, and I'm just so proud of that. Another situation is where I had a doctor client that was working, had her office in a building that she was about to be evicted because new owners and new buyers are coming in to purchase the building, and she had built up a name fan base or within the community, and she didn't know what she was going to do. And through coaching, she went in and she approached the buyers and ended up buying the building, saving her goodwill in the community, and went on to purchase more real estate. That's some of the not small, but quick examples of life coaching.
Those are excellent examples, and they share a story of people being able to talk to you, bring challenges and opportunities, and perhaps get some guidance on how they can be successful at the end of a journey of coaching, of life coaching.
No, I'm sorry, repeat that question again.
It wasn't a question. I was summarizing what your successes were showing, that people can come to you and be successful in finding new ideas on what to do in their life.
Well, what I found, and my love for people, and I've traveled around the world, and I've been so lucky I've traveled around the world. I worked with the Sheikh of Bahrain and Bahrain, met with the president of Kenya, and worked with projects with the Sultan of Brunei, and going to all over the world. And what I learned is that when I go into these countries, I don't try to fix the communities. I don't go in and try to make these countries an American. What I do, I try to enjoy three things that I think is very, very important in understanding a human being, is that the religion, their environment, and their culture. And I experienced that through the food, through the art, and through the music. And once we get to understand each other's religion, environment, and culture, take the judgment coats off and allow people to be who they are, meet them where they are, and the potentials of growth is enormous. There's no limit to how far an individual can grow. Once they learn to look within themselves and find the answers right there.
So you see no challenges that you cannot solve by listening, treating people with dignity and respect, and by seeing their highest potential.
I love the way you put that, because it is about listening and seeing their highest potential, but it's seeing that they can find the answers, not me. As a coach, it's very important that they find the solution to their problems and their situation to move forward.
Excellent. And I have one last question for you, Mr. Yates. What is it that makes you successful in life?
I have this thing, and I get teased about it quite a bit, is that when I come up with an idea, I roll it around in my head, and I'm OCD about it. I'm a finisher. And once that green light go off in my head, I dive in head first, feet first, shoulders. I just dive in like a belly diver in a pool of water. I go straight for it because I believe in finishing. When your spirit, and regardless of what religion, the culture you're from, there's a spirit of creativity in all of us. And once you are lucky enough to get great ideas, the most important thing next is to move forward on that idea. And don't be so afraid of the outcome. Sometimes just the journey itself is worth the try. And I truly love the journey of new ideas, and not just depend on the end results, because sometimes the journey is more sometimes the journey is more fun than the destination, and so that's part of my success.
Thank you so much for your time. It's clear to me that you have so much to give. You have a big heart, a great deal of creativity, many years of success in not only achieving financial success and being a part of the world, traveling around the world, but you have the greatest success. You've found friends and created friends in everything you've done.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And my motto is, no matter where you are in life, there's always room to grow. And I know that if I help to elevate other people, the more I will ascend myself. And thank you so much for this interview. For those of you that want to reach me, my phone number is 310-801-0553. I think my email should be on the screen, but it's lcwyl29@gmail.com. Thank you.